Hey, 592. Okay, so respiratory system this week, slides and a lecture. And the respiratory system is pretty cool. It's similar in a sense that we have ventilation and we have your respiratory rate, your breathing frequency times the tidal volume, the amount of air you take in with each breath. And it's similar to the cardiovascular system, which we're going to do next week, I believe, where we look at cardiac output. So the amount of blood you pump through your system in liters per minute. But that's your heart rate instead of your breathing rate. And you multiply by your stroke volume instead of your tidal volume. So just keep that in the back of your mind while you watch the lecture. And what I want you to do this week for the assignment is you're going to post your assignment in the discussion board and then reply to a classmate. So I want you to create your own table and review basically how training impacts respiratory volumes. And spoiler alert, it doesn't change that many variables, okay? The difference between someone who's trained and untrained will impact their ventilation at higher intensity exercise. But for the most part, the variables are static. So you're not going to generate this massive training table, but there are tables in the slides and in the video that can help you do this. So make sure you do that and look at your textbook. And then the second part, because the table should be small, it shouldn't take you an inordinate amount of time to generate your training tables. So I want you to investigate those altitude training masks or those breath restriction masks. And I want you to essentially find at least 3 references and recommend to us, to the class, whether or not you'd use them for training. And training could be running training, endurance training, it could be resistance training. I put in a decent summary article of a blogger that I reviewed, and I provide it to you because they identify a couple studies that are interesting. And I want to just make sure as you read this article and look at their effects or look at their conclusions. I was just looking to see, he didn't cite his sources at the bottom, but he is linking to PubMed articles. Okay, so you will have access, and at least as a starting point, you can use your own research articles, but I wanted to get you started somewhere. Don't just draw conclusions based on this author. You need to review 3 research articles related to training with a mask on and how that impacts variables, both performance, so like VO2 max or strength, and also the respiratory variables. So make sure you find at least one study that looks at respiration, so breathing frequency, tidal volume, and do these masks work or not, okay? So that's your charge for this week. Thank you and have a good one.